Oh, seems like we are live.
Yeah, we made it to the other side. How you doing, Alex?
I'm fine. It's already afternoon, late afternoon here in Alicante. I think it's similar in Hamburg, right?
Yeah, same time, same time. No,
Same
but
time.
we made it on a Rusty Tuesday. And yeah, so this is our first edition of our Storyblok community chat. Welcome, everybody. I think we're going to give maybe like 2 or 3 minutes for everybody to join. And oh, my cat is walking across my keyboard. I'm very sorry. Always the
Oh,
star of the show. No, but I was going to say our community chats, which is where we're going to meet with people from the community. And we have a really, really exciting guest here with us today. We're going to bring him on in a second. And maybe while we wait, oh, that's awesome. Somebody from Poland is already joining us. Maybe y'all can put in the chat where you're joining us from while we wait 1 second for a couple more people to come on. And then we'll have a chat with our guest.
yes. And today it's all about cats, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Tavi already kind of set the scene here. I guess that's a really good hint at who's joining us.
So we have Tabby. Oh, I should have brought a cat here. Why don't I have a cat in my life these days?
Well, that's the one thing to get, I'm sure. Makes your life a lot better for sure. All right. Shall we maybe already bring him on? How do you feel? Or should we wait a bit longer and get some more people to join us?
Well, actually, I see there are, Manuel is here. There is Ian Barnes from Michigan.
Wow. Must be really early. Must be really early in Michigan right now.
Awesome. Yes. I don't know. What shall we do? It's 5:04.
All right, let's give it one.
Started.
Okay, sure. Let's do it. Right, then. Do you want to introduce our guest or should I?
Well, I mean, you're my favorite MC.
That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. No, but we can bring him on in a second. So joining us today is, I hope I say his name right, Matias Capelletto, aka Patak Dev from Twitter. He is part of the Vite and Vite's core team. He's also a Vue team member, and he's currently working at StackBlitz. And he is organizing ViteConf, which we were super excited about. And so what is he not doing? Basically, he's very busy these days, but we're really lucky that we got an hour of his time and can ask all the questions that we have about all these interesting things going on. Welcome, Matias. Come up and join us. Hey, welcome.
Hey, happy to be here.
Awesome. So nice that you're here. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm fine here. I'm joining from Hungary, so we are more or less on the same time, everyone.
All right, nice. Yeah, I was thinking, but that makes a lot of sense. And how's your stress level going with organizing a conference right now? How are you really doing?
It's 3 weeks today, so the level is going up a bit. But it's varying because we got a lot of the content now, like a lot of talks. So, and I cannot do spoilers here, but they are awesome. So
it's not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it's the first time that like I organize something like this, and it's not myself the one that is organizing. I am part of a group of people. Like there's a lot of people from StackBlitz, for example, that are like helping, like from DevRel to also doing the web page, and also from the Vite community, and the main people that are behind, like the speakers, that everyone actually took the time to prepare a good talk for ViteConf. That we really, really thankful to them for saying yes to this free conference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you already touched upon so many interesting things we're all going to want to talk about in a little bit more detail, but maybe just really quickly before we dive into the grid of things, do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe I missed something that you want to explain about yourself, and then also, of course, about ViteConf, because maybe, I mean, if you haven't heard of it, you have lived under a rock. Recently, it's been all over Twitter, but maybe you want to give a quick intro of what you have planned and what's the vision here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. About me, I'm, as you said, part of the Vite core team, and you're going to see me around like the Vite ecosystem, like wherever I can help. I joined StackBlitz in January, and these have allowed me to focus a lot of energy into Vite itself. Before that, I was doing it in my free time. But Vite has grown a lot in the last year. If you look at the npm download, for example, like it's like 10 times what it was like last year. So we crossed 1.5 million download weekly. That is quite a lot for a project like Vite, and it's still like exponential going up. So there's a lot of things to do. Like we had around 800 issues, open issues at one point, because like there's so many users, you know. But luckily we have like a big team now that is working on them, and yeah. And as you saw, also like the ecosystem has grown a lot. Like if you see the UI frameworks, or that almost all of them are now doing a framework or meta framework based on Vite. So it's, yeah, we are lucky for that too, because every one of that maintainers actually end up contributing back to Vite. So there is a lot of sharing and collaboration at this point. And what you say about the vision for ViteConf, it's kind of like a celebration of that, of that collaboration. It's going to be a stage where like someone from each of that framework is going to show what they are working. There are going to be some Vite core talks, like there are like 4 or 5 team members that are going to do talks about Vite itself, but mainly most of the talks are about the projects that are building on top of Vite. And this was always the case, like how like Vite grows from others adopting Vite, you know, and maybe the spotlight is on Astro, for example, but like Astro is powered by Vite now, or in SvelteKit, that I know you were in the Svelte Summit, that looked awesome, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, that's kind of like the vision. The idea appeared like even before January. Like there were some community members that were starting to say like, hey, like Vite is growing a lot. Maybe like there could be a possibility of doing a conference, but doing a conference is a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And in the community, we didn't have kind of the experience, or maybe even like the sponsoring to do some like hire an AV team, you know, like and do everything. But after joining StackBlitz, Eric Simmons, that is the CEO there. So one of the first thing that throw in the table is like, hey, like why we don't do a ViteConf? Like, is that something that I don't know, like could happen? And we started to talk with other people and to see if speakers, like if the maintainers in the community will be interested, and the reception was really good. So yeah, we started to organize this directly there, like in, I think it was February. Mm-hmm. And yeah, from getting the speakers, it started to get more real, you know, like and now is there. Like we can maybe at one point we could share the ViteConf page so people get a sense of the lineup. I don't know, like could we do?
Sure, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, there we go.
First, like something I say like 3 weeks, but so you can say the date is October 11, 12. This is also interesting because it's 2 days, but it's a 1-day conference. It's a 24-hour straight conference. And the idea was that how are we going to do something that is inclusive for all the community? because we have like a lot of the team members, for example, are like from Asia, and we have people all over the world. So we wanted to try to do something that will allow everyone to participate live at one point at least. And so we say, okay, let's do 12 hours of content, and then we are going to repeat the same live, let's say. And during all that 24 hours, we are going to discuss in Discord with the community or with the speakers about what we are seeing and like talking with them. And there will be some live events also that we can later get into that. But the idea is that wherever you are from, if you start watching, you could watch 12 hours straight of content and watch all the conference and participate in the conference. I think it's too much maybe to watch 12 hours straight. You should take some breaks maybe and then later save the talks. But that was the idea why it started on October 11 at 7 a.m. PST, and then it goes for 24 hours straight. I don't think I'm going to sleep that much that 2 days. And yeah, so I advise you register and then grab a ticket. You register with GitHub, and then you can choose your own ticket, like theme. There are themes for all the frameworks and like projects that are helping us. There's one from Storyblok, for example. So yeah, I advise that. And I was saying, like the speakers, we have like Evan Yu, Jessica Sachs, Rich Harris from Svelte, Daniel Roy is going to talk to us about Max, Brandon Roberts is going to talk about Angular and the new meta framework he's working on. Debbie O'Brien, now Playwright is using Vite for component testing, the same as Cypress. So yeah, Ryan Carnier from Solid is going to talk about Solid Start. Nate Moore from Astro. Yeah, we have some big announcement from the StackBlitz folk also there. They are going to talk to us about. Also, I cannot spoil that much. And yeah, if you check the speakers and the project, you're going to see that there is like a lot of the things we use and love in the web community are represented. Even things that are not strictly Vite related, but for example, the Vite ecosystem has adopted PMPM, and most of the repos right now are powered by it. So we talked with Zoltan, and he said, yeah, like let's do a talk. And so that is awesome too, because like the ecosystem is not directly like downstream and upstream projects, but they are related projects that are also like aligned in our, let's say, vision. And yeah, Anthony Fu, Kia, I don't know, I think you, like most of these people, you don't need any presentation at all. It is interesting that like Bartek from Deno is going to show in Deno. And Jared said also that he's going to show Vite working in Ban. So yeah, there is a lot to wait for there. And yeah, we can go on. There is a talk about Rollup that I'm very happy that Lucas took the time to also send that to us. And yeah, you can check later. And yeah, thanks for StackBlitz and all the communities that are helping us also to promote the event. Yeah, this was not going to be possible again. The idea was, I think, I don't know if you want to see something else or we can go back to.
Sure. No, but you can, I mean, if you've shown the page, you can, of course, take it off. But I mean, the speaker list is so impressive. It's like the who's who of web dev these days, right? Like who is not working with Vite, basically. It's really hard to like wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know, maybe it's an obvious question, but like for you, how did this happen? How did it accelerate so much? And how did this ecosystem that you're talking about evolve, basically? I'm very curious about that. Oh yeah, there's the link. Awesome. If anybody wants to check that out later.
Yeah, thanks. people could register and actually share their tickets here on the chat. That will be awesome with their own framework. I don't know if the chat actually expands, the social image. I don't think so.
I don't know, but the personalized ticket was really cool. If you haven't gotten your ticket, you should just for the fun of that try it and personalize to like your favorite framework, and it's changing color. It's really neat. It's really fun.
Yeah, and yeah, about your question about the ecosystem, it was kind of gradual after Evan you released it. Like Evan did a massive sprint at the beginning of 2021 that finishes on, I think, around like end of February with the release of Vite 2. And that was a big moment because Vite 1 had like you could use it with other frameworks, but there was a lot of code related to like Vue only. But Vite 2 was really like framework agnostic at its core. The Vue plugin, for example, was like directly a plugin that was extracted, and I think like one of the main reasons that worked so well was that in Vite 2, Evan took the decision to adopt an idea from WMR that was a universal plugin system based on Rollup. So the same plugins that you could use in like Rollup in build time, you could use it also during dev. And this allows us to tap into the Rollup ecosystem. Like there was a huge amount of plugins already there. And for a lot of Rollup users, Vite was presented as, look, you're already using Rollup. If you instead migrate to Vite, that it wasn't difficult at all, you now have a dev server for your web project. And you have hot model replacement that is really fast, like using this unbundled world that Vite was part of. At that point, Vite was part of a few projects that was like web dev server from Modern Web, Snowpack, WMR, and Vite were all kind of working on the same space. And with time, I think like some of the decisions really resonated, and a community started to materialize. We created the Discord at that point. Evan also wanted to do a lot of things in Vue at the time, so he took the effort to create a good team for Vite, because the idea was that we should be able to like work and maintain Vite even without him in the day-to-day sometimes. And so there was like a team forming, and then like the community around it starting to appear. And the Discord, I think it played a very important role, because a lot of people that are starting to develop plugins at first that, I don't know, like Vite plugin PWA. We have to thank Anthony Fu for that. Like I think like half the plugins in the ecosystem started from a project from him. And yeah, afterwards, like there were like some big projects that are starting to use Vite. I think like the first one, apart from Vue, that it was obvious since Evan was there, so Vue was going to adopt it. But we're starting to see Rich Harris like asking some questions in Discord, and it was like, ooh, they were using Snowpack at that point for SvelteKit, and so it's like, okay. And afterwards, they announced it that they have moved from Snowpack to Vite, and that was like a massive push. From there on, like a lot of projects starting to show, like people that wanted to integrate it with a Storyblok, and like one in after the other. And at one point, for example, the Snowpack team that at that time they were already developing Astro. So they decided to refocus all their effort into Astro. So they switched it from Snowpack to Vite also. And that was also a massive push, because Astro was growing a lot. And it's also like a message for other people. And we are lucky that they are actually part of the community now, and they are helping Vite, like doing PRs, or even now they have hired one of the Vite core team members, Blue, that is like working for them, also like both in Astro and in Vite at the same time now. So yeah, really happy to have Astro on our side.
Yeah, it sounds like it grew so organically and healthily, yet at tremendous speed and like really snowballing, really escalating. But yeah, it sounds like you really built like a picture book community there, if you will, right? It's really, really inspiring.
Yeah, and I think the only way that why it worked is because everyone that started to like adopt Vite, they started to participate in the community and started to like not only like, okay, I use this thing, but like I also like put something in mind there. And I don't know, like they started to use it for Ruby application, for example, like Maximo Musini. And they like Maximo did a plugin, but that plugin and all the work he did ended up helping like the Laravel folks later a lot, because there were a lot of like alignment there of things that they needed for the backend. And now Laravel have, I think it was like 1 or 2 months ago, switched by default to Vite. That's huge, because it's like the Laravel community is huge. And so it's like everyone kind of like is pushing forward in a shared common base that it was kind of difficult to do before.
Yeah, joining forces basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Actually, from my side, it felt like Vite really went like a rampage as soon as others started to adapt it also. Because at the beginning, I remember that it was more created for Vue, right? But it was later framework agnostic. And I remember people at the beginning being a bit reluctant, like, hey, this technology is for Vue. But then as others started to adopt it, and I think it was especially because the DX, because I remember a tweet from someone of the Vue community saying, I just tried Vite from the first time, and as soon as I've saved a file in my editor, the file was there that fast that I don't even notice. So in that microsecond that I press the Command S type, right? So I think that's the point when I started to see it being adopted by other teams like the Svelte Kit, now Astro, and everyone else. And now it's like Vite everywhere. It's like, who doesn't know about Vite, right? And they live in a cave or something if they don't know it.
I remember that someone made a plugin, a Vite plugin, to actually like show some like red big dot, because it won't believe that it updated because it was too fast. Yeah, and what you say, like we didn't even touch like a lot of the ecosystem, because like we really need. My talk, for example, in the conference is going to be about the Vite ecosystem, and like I can ramble for hours on it, because really like, we didn't talk yet about Vitesse, for example, that is like a Vite native replacement for Chest that is also taking, like it grow also 10 times in even less time. Like I don't know, like how is growing a lot. The adoption is greater, and yeah, there's so much variety and so much collaboration going on that is really interesting to see. And I hope that this is what we're going to see in ViteConf, that we are going to see like a lot of projects showing why what they are doing is great, but also showing that like collaborating is important, and that this is not a zero-sum game, like, and we can work together and create like share plugins and help each other. Like there is tons of projects right now that are kind of like innovating, but at the same time like looking at the others and sharing ideas about how to do SSR, or I don't know, like now there are like 3 island architecture frameworks around, and like there's so many, let's say, exploration at this point. And I see like in some parts like Vite help it with that.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So it's not about competition and like who's the most popular and the latest hype framework and like the shiny object all around, but rather like how can we do this together to make it just more enjoyable, to improve DX and to focus on the things that are really important, right?
Yeah, and I hope that like we are going to towards a future that is, I don't know, like there are more players, you know, like even for Vite, I hope that the Vite is not going to become like the new Webpack and people are going to just do things that work in Vite, let's say, no, that's not the idea. But like looking at the framework level, for example, like it's interesting that maybe like React is not longer like the only one or the default choice, and then you have like a lot more variety to choose from, and then like you have like Vue and Svelte and Solid and like so many others now that I think is healthy for web dev, that we have more players and that is a little bit more balanced, let's say.
Yeah, but speaking of the future, do you have like a grand vision? Where do you want this to go? Because looking at it from an outside, I mean, the growth is just escalating. It looks like taking over the world by storm in a very friendly way. But like, what's your goal, so to say, or where do you want this to go?
I don't know. Like, I think it's very good that like if this keep working as it's working right now, where like everybody is collaborating in it, and we are able to create like a big group of people around like the team, around the collaborators, like helping in triage, and all the maintainers are actually also like chipping in. If we can like maintain it like that, I think it could keep growing. Let's say there is a space. We are actually doing a lot of work that is positioned to help in this future of Vite growing even more than today. Like since the beginning, as I said, like with Evan actually working towards creating a team, and we kept that team kept growing with time. So like there are more like power, let's say, there. And again, like with companies that have Vite in their like I don't know, they really need Vite to succeed. Like for StackBlitz, for example, it's really useful that Vite is there. Like one of the ideas in StackBlitz is that it should load extremely fast. Like, you know, like you open a playground in the browser and you want like in 2 seconds to be there, like just working on it. So Vite really helped with that vision. So there is a lot of alignment, and this is good because we have funding to continue working. I saw yesterday that a Storyblok also started to like send thanks for that, like that you started to sponsor Vue and Vite, or you up it the sponsorship, I think. And then like apart from that is we have, for example, a project that is really interesting is the work from one of the Svelte maintainers that is called Vite Ecosystem CI. That this project let us run the CI of like around 12 projects from the ecosystem. So SvelteKit, Nax, VitePress, you name it, like the big ones. Every time that we do a PR that we are not sure, we run the whole ecosystem against that PR to know that we are not going to break anyone. And then like this system is giving us messages in Discord every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday against the main from, for example, the main of Astro against the main of Vite. We get a report how it's working. And every time that we see a red, this is even before releasing, we directly start to talk there in Discord with the Astro maintainer. I don't know, like I go and ping the Astro maintainer and say like, hey, look, like we saw this problem. Is this on your side, or this is something that we did? And so this allowed us to first like go faster because we can do like more aggressive change, knowing that we didn't break anyone, but also like allow us to grow because 6 months ago, when we didn't have this, like every time that we had to press the release button, it was like me and the DM of a lot of people saying like, hey, could you test this? Like, could you tell me that they're not going to break anything by like pressing the release button? And nowadays it's like we feel that if the ecosystem CI is passing, then like we feel really confident that we can like release. So this has like enormous, let's say, implication for how we develop together.
Well, but that's really huge. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest CI's ecosystem I always heard about, like running it in all the major frameworks, like several days, but it also ensures a lot the quality. And actually I have a question or a concern that maybe people in the community can have, because as far as I know, if we look back on the story of Webpack started for bundling. And at the end, everyone wanted to use Webpack for their own purposes. So I remember hearing attack from Shane, from how is it pronounced, Shane? I think it was pronounced Shane, but yeah, the one that was talking about Webpack everywhere, saying that because they tried adopting everyone use case in Webpack, it became quite hard to maintain later in time. I see Vite is like the cool kid now, like everyone wants to use Vite. How do you plan to maintain Vite in its own path while adopting everyone's use cases?
That is like an interesting dance always, no? Because at the beginning you have a lot of these cycles where like you have some new project that at the beginning it doesn't do much, so it can be simple and it's fast, and then you start to add new features and you start to say yes, and then it becomes the same, and somebody new will come and will do, and then it will repeat. And this is something that we discuss a lot with the team. We are lucky that Evan is there because he has kind of like experience in keeping like a scope on working with these large ecosystems and projects. So we are learning a lot there. And how we do it right now is that we are saying no a lot of the time. We have like as I said, like the maintenance, we like kind of like the team, let's say, like took over the day-to-day, but for new features or like new config options, like we are getting together, the whole team, like every 2 weeks, and with Evan and with everybody there, like we discuss, and we are only accepting like things that are really, really needed towards the scope that we have. And we are very lucky, let's say, because the roll-up plugin system is quite flexible. So it allows us to say a lot of no, but you can do a plugin for that. That this allows us to keep the core simple and then let the community fly with whatever use case they want. And this is always what we're trying to do. Like if there is a new feature, try to see what are the like primitives and like that we can provide, so we don't, let's say, like go over the scope. And but yeah, like it's a one of the advantages that we had over Webpack was exactly this, that the idea that our scope was a lot smaller, so we could like focus and we don't need that much configuration, for example. And also we have to thank Webpack because they're like all that explorations actually define it like conventions and patterns that then later we like everybody started to do certain things in some ways, so we can do that thing in Vite without any configuration because like almost everyone will do that. So yeah, sometimes it's a little bit difficult because you have to say no to a 2 lines change, but that 2 lines change, even if it feels that is small in the code, then later every new option, it ends up adding up and like interacting with other options. There is more documentation, there is a lot there. So I think that we are going to keep trying to keep Vite small, the core, and let plugin authors or framework authors innovate on top of it.
Yeah, but that sounds really reasonable. Also, if you make like a 2-line change, you said earlier you had like, I don't know what, 800 issues or something. I mean, then it's 800 times 2, and then it adds up. Yeah. So that's not scalable, is that? That's not going to be small anymore.
Yeah, actually, they say the more times you say no, the better are the yes. So I guess that's the way that Vite is keeping the quality while by the plugins allowing extendability, right?
Yeah, applies to life as well, I guess.
Vite is life. This is getting philosophic. I love it.
Oh boy.
Actually, I have another question, just going back to some more personal touch, because I expected more people saying this, but I only see one comment saying, "Oh my God, Patak, you are not a cat."
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah. I was expecting something else.
Yeah. What's the cat story here? There you go.
Yeah, it's Zorro. It's one of 3 cats that we have, and I don't know, like it was quite random that I choose a photo of him for the avatar, and it's a stick. And now I don't know if I can remove it because I will get that kind of comments. So today there was someone saying like, "Oh, I love that even in the conference you're getting the cat avatar."
I think you should come to the in-person conferences with the cat. I mean, it's famous worldwide in the web community, right? Already.
Yeah, I always like, I don't know what it feels from the other side. Like I am doing some like serious comment. Oh no, this feature is like we cannot accept it because and it's a small smiley cat there.
Oh, but it's kind of nice. So you always have like a positive balance, even if you're maybe like saying no to somebody again. Be like, no, we can't do this. But look, it's cute. Like it always helps. It's like fluff.
I will not get mad at the cat. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Who could get mad at a cat? Yeah.
Maybe yeah, you're right. It helps. So I will not remove it.
No. And I mean, it keeps a bit of the mystery alive, right? So nobody knows who the mystery man is behind the cat, and there's always a surprise. So keep people on their toes. No. You were saying earlier, teasing a little bit already about the talks, and I know you can't say any specifics, but is there anybody or any specific talk that you are like particularly looking forward to, or you already mentioned StackBlitz also has some announcement, anything else you want to like highlight maybe?
Yeah. Well, Eric already started on Twitter saying like these kind of like teasers, but yeah, they have been working for like a long time and decided to also, because of this alignment, to announce there on the conference. I cannot say what it is, but it's awesome. I saw it. So yeah, so tune in for their talk to see that, and yeah, like I think there will be several talks that I'm looking forward to several of them. And as I said before, for example, I'm very happy that there will be a roll-up talk, and that is not only about like the flashy projects, let's say, on like showing off, but also like these downstream tools that actually Vite succeeded because of roll-up. Like it was like a big, massive ecosystem that now there is very close collaboration. So maybe I could bring it in a stream. I see some people that are saying that we are going to meet Zora. We actually have some live sections that are really looking forward. First, the first talk from Evan, the keynote, will be live. So Evan will appear live. And then the last panel, we have the folks at This.Labs are going to organize 2 panels that are going to be live. And the last one is for like the Vite team, and like Evan, like Anthony Fu, like Blue. There's like a lot of people from the Vite team will be there, and like we can get like questions from the community and talk a little bit about the conference itself and like how things are going to move forward. Vite 4, for example, is not that far away. now that Rollup is going to release a new mayor. And then there is another live panel that is for the frameworks panel. And this is going to be also really interesting because apart from having each of them do a talk, it's also nice to have all together and discuss a little bit. So Fred Scott from Astro is going to be there. Ben Camp from SvelKit, that I know he couldn't join there in Svel Summit, but he's going to be there live also. Misko from Quick, Daniel Roe from Nax, Ryan Carniato from Solid. Like, it's a very good bunch that I'm very, very looking forward to that live panel too.
Yeah, true. Oh, that mixes things up a bit, right? And I'm personally also super excited about the talk from Rich Harris, because it literally just says SvelteKit. Like, that's the title of the conference. So he's also a man of mystery, if you will, just without the cat picture. So we're also very curious about
I think Rich always put the name of the talks like just a little bit before the conference, or
but it's good, it keeps people interested, right? Somebody just asked in the chat if you have learned anything surprising as you were planning the conference, or what the hardest part was for you.
Well, I have learned that there's a lot of time to do something like this. and that is good that you have like a team, like there is a lot of people to help, because there is, like, from talking to speakers to organizing how the schedule is going to be, to brainstorming about even or how the sections are going to be, like where to put the talks, or like the order, or like the basic things, like, okay, like we do a conference and how it's going to be like, and you have maybe like Serious Lope is helping with the organization too. They were behind other events like ViteConf and like some other big events, and so like it was like, okay, you want to do a conference, and what do you want? We can do like 1 day, 2 days, like multiple tracks, or like anything. So everything is open, and there is a lot of details to decide.
Yeah, a lot of decisions, I can imagine.
Yeah. But I think that we are very happy that, I don't know how it is seen from like the other side, but like what we see is that the vibe of the conference is kind of like the vibe of the community too. So that there is, like, Rich Harris did a tweet that saying, Vite is now the United Nations of JavaScript, so I will be there representing Svellandia, and that kind of like it's amazing,
I love it.
Yeah, to have this kind of vibe, that is like a place where all the projects are there, like working together, let's say, towards a common goal. So
yeah, that's beautiful. You're kind of moderating the web and just bringing everybody to a round table and be like, come on, kids, now talk. Like, it's really nice.
Yeah, and so I hope also that, for example, we are going to use Discord for chatting. It's free, so we don't need a platform, let's say, like a place where you need to register or pay to and like enjoy the conference. So it's going to be free to watch, and we are going to use Discord to chat, because also all that activity, like, we hope that is going to stay later. Like if they join for the conference, then it stay in the chat.vitejs.dev. If you're not in ViteLAN, I truly recommend, because it's a very good community. And so, like, let's hope that all these, let's say, the event end up bringing more people into collaborating in the frameworks first, and also in Vite.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, I was just trying to get there you go. Alex put up the link. I was like trying to multitask and get the link for people if they want to join.
You can like also share chat.vitejs.dev. This is like a convention that a lot of projects use, that if you say like chat. And then vitejs.dev or vites.dev, like chat.vites.dev, you're going to join the Discord.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna get some new Vitlandia inhabitants now. Oh, but that's really nice. Yeah, so you got it all figured out basically, and now it's just last minute fixes over the next 3 weeks, and I guess we can keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, it is. Don't say last minute. It's like 3 weeks. Like.
Yeah, just considering if you started organizing in February, now it's like the last kind of sprint. Yeah, no, but obviously you still have some time. That's true. No. And is there like any chance, I mean, it's really early to say, but would you ever be up to also making an in-person conference out of this?
Actually, like a lot of people in the community have like brought that up. Even like some of the people that were then in as well Summit. I was chatting with Dominic, for example, that said like, hey, next time I hope that ViteConf is going to be also offline, and it will be awesome to meet everyone in person. I think it helps a lot later when you're chatting if you already share like in person, no, some adventures. So I hope that at one point we could. It's kind of challenging with this like. How global the community is, no? Like where you do it, you know, like maybe it should like it's not a problem, and you can start like moving it around, like as well Summit that now it was where it was in Sweden,
in
no?
Stockholm, in Sweden.
So, but then already they are planning like where is going to be the next one, and
I'm going. Like all the locations looked really promising. It was just like sign me up. I'm going.
So yeah, like maybe they are saying Argentina. They're like we can go with Facundo.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
It couldn't be other way, right? Or maybe you can even do like some kind of roadshow, like over the world, Vite over the world.
Nice.
That's another interesting one. That maybe it could be like an online thing, but you do these kind of small summits and watch parties, you know, like in different cities. I think that is also kind of an interesting setup. Because you could have like 5 or 10 of these like focus, and people could join on them. But that is kind of organizing like 10 conferences already.
Oh boy, yes, totally. Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Let's discuss let's do another stream once ViteConf is over.
Yeah, and then maybe let's see after a little bit of vacation and rest afterwards, maybe that.
Yeah, but if ViteConf works like as it kind of like is starting to show that it will be a really interesting event, I think that like it could be an interesting platform like moving forward, like to do like a 1 year thing where like a lot of the community in web dev is showing like what they are working on. So if Vite continues to grow, and I think there is a possibility to have one next year too.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it's always good to plan ahead, right? So everybody can already mark that as Vite Day, ViteConf Day. Nice. Alex,
actually, I'm not sure you shared it, but just one small thing. How many people are registered already in ViteConf, and how many are expected?
I think it's like 17. Like last time I checked, like 17,500 or something like that. That is quite a number for a first time event. Like we are extremely surprised by how many people have registered so far, and there is still 3 weeks more. So like maybe we get to 20,000.
Wow, yeah, that's
really not so bad for the first time.
Yeah, seems that a lot of people are interested in Vite.
Yeah, I think Rich Harris is right. It's the United Nations of the web development, right?
Yeah. It's so interesting because the more I read about it or heard about it, I was like, wow, this sounds like utopia. Like why does it all sound so good? I'm still kind of looking for the downfall, but maybe there is just none. So we'll stay tuned. No, but actually, Alex, what I was just going to ask is, you wanted to say something about how we use Vite at Storyblok, right?
Yeah, I mean, we also jump on the wave. So we have also some Vite Storyblok land nation, right? And actually it happened quite organically, because for me, one of the problems that Vite solved the most is that right now is the one tool out there for web development. Meaning that, for example, internally at that point when we chose Vite to use it internally for our SDKs and the open source packages, we didn't have a standard setup. We had some libraries with Webpack, others with Rollup, others with some other package. And even the bundle process was kind of different, the way to bundle, right? And yeah, many times I've been asked, like, how do you do open source? And I think it's not that, how to say that, clear. Like, for example, how to do web applications, that you have a lot of courses out there. I think in my case, it was something that I learned more by experience, right? You have to know how to bundle, for what cases, how to put everything in the package JSON, and yeah, a lot of things, right? But with Vite, it was just, with this library mode, it was just 2 lines of code, and it really applies all the standards to build an open source library, right? With all the different bundles and everything. So what I like the most when we started investigating is that just with Vite, you have everything you need in your environment. And not only for an open source library, but with the same configuration, we have playgrounds and open source libraries. So applications and open source libraries with the same code. And even better, then Vitest came into the play, and now also with the same setup, you also have a whole test suite, right? So for me, that's the best killer point of Vite, not only the DX and the speed, which is, of course, but also that with one configuration, and usually super small, you have everything ready. So yeah, we started using it internally for that. And yeah, all the SDKs ecosystem right now is using Vite. We are not using Vitest yet. I would like to see it happening, but yeah, we still also need some more people dedicated to the SDKs, which, yeah, if you are out there and you open an issue and we didn't pay attention for you, I'm sorry, we try to do our best, but yeah, we are working on reallocating some people to do more work on the SDKs. But yeah, so far so happy, I would say. What would you say, Josie?
There is no turning back now, right? I mean, it's really difficult, at least for me, to imagine how to accomplish what we're doing right now in any other way or with any other. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it would be a lot less convenient and a lot less fun. So, no, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
True.
We actually, like, there was this problem with the Storyblok integration with Astro. And like one of you, and I don't know who, created an issue on Astro. And because Blue is working there, it saw that it's actually a Vite issue. So like he went and created like a PR on Vite that like work it then there. And that was released. And then this was Astro was released also, and you're fixed now. And like I think like one of your
Manuel, I think, right? He's also, or he was watching earlier, and he
it was today that he sent a tweet saying like, wow, like I opened this and like already there is a release of Astro. And this is like really interesting of showing how like this bug could affect other people that are not the Storyblok also. I think so it is really interesting that because of some problem you had, like then I saw in the chat how like these like cross projects, I love how that works.
Totally, the synergy, right? And I mean, especially if you then get support and feedback so quickly, that's so satisfying also to work on tools like that, right? So yeah, that's great developer experience for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now I'm even more, I didn't think it was possible, but I'm even more excited for ViteConf now. Nice. Awesome. Yeah. Alex, do you have any last questions or anything? No. Okay.
I'm just freaking out because I couldn't imagine that we could influence at least a little bit in the Vite core.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
I mean, we're not doing a Svelte kit or a framework, just some SDKs, which, they touch very different technologies. But yeah, actually, I have a question for you, Matias, because I remember the last time we talked, you said that the Reactlandia was not using Vite as much as others frameworks like Svelte or Vue or Astro right now. What's the situation with React right now?
I think if you do the breakdown, React is still like the most used framework in Vite. Like if you just because there is so much usage of React, you know. So even if you say like Vue is closer, but then like just for the numbers that React manage, but like a lot has happened in the React ecosystem. One really interesting project is Shopify hydrogen. I think it's pronounced. And this is like a really interesting project that they are not only doing a framework, but also working with the React team so they can implement React server components in Vite. That this was initially like when the proposal was out, it was like a Webpack only thing. And so they work it together with the React team, and that is awesome to see. And there is like Fatih is going to do a talk about Rakash. That is a framework, like a Next.js-like framework, but powered by Vite. So there is a lot of like movement, let's say. I think that is no longer the case. But even if that was the case, like I think the usage was always like the most usage came from the React ecosystem just because it's huge.
Yeah, totally. I can see that.
Yeah, and one thing that I forgot was that the one place where a lot of usage is coming from in React are from libraries using it for their own examples. So if you see the documentation of projects like React Router or like other projects like that, there is a lot of these examples that are writing in Vite.
I mean, these days, I get the feeling that if you are not using Vite, you are not in web development. It's like, where are you at, right? And probably maybe it's just Next, the only project that is not using Vite yet, because they're using this and Gatsby.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to search.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, right?
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I also see quite challenging, but also quite brave what the Next team is doing, like trying to do the framework in a way that is not totally reliant on Vite, that you can use different bundlers, because that has to be really challenging. I mean, if making a meta framework is already challenging, making it able to plug in Vite or Webpack or another kind of Vite that gets out there, that should be really crazy.
Yeah, the Next folks really did a lot of work. And what is very interesting that I did is, like, if you haven't checked so far, the Ant.js project, they actually released a lot of the pieces they use, and also, for example, Ant plugin from Anthony Fu, that let you write a plugin that works both in Vite, Rollup, Webpack, ESBuild. So there is a lot of pieces that are now like there for other frameworks that would like to do the same that Next did. So that's really awesome.
Actually, I'm not sure how it started, but everything I see under the Ant.js organization is super cool. It's really super awesome. Cool. They are doing black magic there. Good. I have one last question from my side, Matias, because I always like to at least ask one of these questions. I would love if you can share some kind of wowsy or anecdote or funny story that happened to you during your time in Vite. Some kind of, error that happened there and you break a big project, or just, whatever.
I can share. Well, the first time that I released Vite, I did it from a Windows machine, and I broke it because the encoding was wrong. But I asked it before, like, hey, there is a problem with doing this, and so I broke it. But it was good because like there was an issue, maybe like I don't know, like 10 minutes afterwards, saying, hey, this is broken because of this, and then open source work it. Okay, then we release it, and I installed it WSL, and like I release it from there. But that was a good way to to start releasing Vite.
Windows and Vite, no friends from the beginning.
It's always hard. That bad management, bug fixes that we do every week.
Yeah. That's a good one. And you said you have a second one as well?
Well, that is like 2 days ago. I sent my ViewFest Japan talk to Kia, and instead of sending the trim version, I actually sent the one that has like 7 false starts. So Kia Kia must have had a very good laugh at me saying like, okay, again. But yeah, I think it's only him. If he didn't started to share around with other organizers just to get a laugh at me. But now the trim version looks good.
Maybe he's keeping it also just to, like in case you ever do something like funny, he can like put pressure on you.
No, Kia is a friend. Kia is a friend.
Oh boy, that's good. Nice, yeah. So I guess we can slowly start wrapping things up, but it was super nice to have you here with us for our first edition of the community chat. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And I mean, if you haven't already, go follow Matias on Twitter, get your ticket for ViteConf, join us there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so I guess we can also say that we have more community events coming up in the future. We have another community stream that is with Astro. Also very exciting. Yes. Oh, yeah. Awesome. And we have another with Storyblok, don't we? Yes. I think on the 18th of October. That's going to be fun because everybody keeps confusing the two of us. So that's going to be a good one for sure. And then later in October, we also have another Girl Code coffee chat talking about branding. So our Twitch calendar is pretty full. Follow Storyblok on Twitch if you haven't already. And join us for the next rounds. Thank you again so much for being with us today, Matias. And have a good day or night, wherever you live.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.